In the high Arctic, silence is the deadliest weapon. Across this white wasteland, the world's largest land predator is always watching, waiting for a single heartbeat to give its prey away. But in a land where 90% of hunts end in failure, survival isn't just about strength. It's about a 1,200-pound bite force, the patience to wait for hours in sub-zero winds, and the desperation that drives a bear to attack a 3,000-pound giant. From the silent vigils at the breathing holes to the brutal high-stakes battles on the drifting ice, this is the raw, unyielding reality of the Arctic's ultimate apex predator. For the polar bear, few prey species are as valuable as the ringed seal. Weighing roughly 150 pounds, these Arctic seals spend much of their lives beneath the sea ice, surfacing only through scattered breathing holes or sheltering inside hidden snow dens. To catch one, the world's largest land predator must rely on patience, precision, and an intimate understanding of the frozen landscape. One of its most reliable hunting techniques begins beside an active breathing hole. The bear identifies the location, then waits in complete silence, sometimes enduring hours of bitter Arctic cold without moving. The instant the seal rises for a breath, the predator launches an explosive strike. Even with perfect timing, only about one hunt in 10 ends successfully. When breeding season arrives, the strategy changes. Ringed seals protect their pups inside snow-covered dens, hidden beneath the ice. Guided by an extraordinary sense of smell, the polar bear slowly searches for the faintest signs of life below the surface. Once the location is confirmed, a predator weighing well over 1,000 pounds crashes through the snow with overwhelming force before the occupants have any chance to escape. Shrinking sea ice has made every hunt more demanding. Increasing stretches of open water force the bear to stalk its prey from unstable drifting ice. Every movement is carefully controlled, allowing its enormous body to blend into the frozen surroundings until the final approach. But once the chase reaches the water, the advantage quickly shifts to the seal, whose speed and agility are difficult to match. Even with remarkable hunting skills, long periods without food remain a harsh reality for polar bears. Survival in the Arctic depends not only on strength, but on perfect timing, relentless patience, and the ability to seize the rare opportunities that this unforgiving world provides. Across the unforgiving Arctic coastline, survival often demands impossible choices. When seal hunting no longer provides enough food, a weakened mother polar bear with hungry cubs depending on her is forced to attempt one of the most dangerous hunts imaginable. Her target is an enormous gathering of walruses. Mature adults can tip the scales at nearly 3,000 pounds, armed with formidable tusks that stretch close to 3 feet long. Together, they form an imposing wall of muscle and ivory that few predators dare confront. As the herd settles across the sandy beach, the bear patrols the outer edge with remarkable patience. She studies every shift and opening, waiting for discipline within the group to break. The instant panic ripples through the colony, and the walruses surge toward the sea. She closes in, using the confusion to isolate a younger or slower animal before it can disappear into the crowd. In these critical seconds, every move matters. Quick reactions and perfect timing may be the only chance to turn overwhelming odds into survival. A successful hunt would provide an enormous supply of calories, enough to feed the mother and her cubs for days. But the margin for error is razor thin. Once the walruses reach deep water, the advantage quickly slips away from the bear. In the high Arctic, encounters like this are shaped by necessity rather than aggression. Every decision is a careful balance between danger and reward, where only those that adapt can endure another day beneath the frozen northern sky. As the Arctic's brief summer takes hold, the frozen hunting grounds begin to disappear, stripping the polar bear of the advantage it relies on most. With the sea ice gone, surprise attacks on seals are no longer possible, and the ocean beneath the ice becomes out of reach. To stay alive, the Arctic's greatest predator must abandon its trusted routine and search for entirely different ways to find its next meal. Towering coastal cliffs now offer an unexpected chance for survival. Thousands of seabirds crowd the rocky ledges to breed, filling the area with vulnerable nests. Sensing the opportunity, the polar bear turns to eggs as an alternative food source. But reaching them demands remarkable agility, as it carefully scales steep rock walls where even one misplaced step could bring the climb to a sudden end. After a demanding ascent, the bear finally reaches the nests scattered across the cliffside. The nesting birds fiercely defend their eggs until the very last second, diving and calling in desperate attempts to drive the giant intruder away. Yet their determination is rarely enough to stop such an enormous predator. While each egg provides only a modest reward, every bite helps the bear endure a season when food is in short supply. Its ability to adapt extends well beyond the cliffs. Whenever larger feeding opportunities arise, the polar bear expands its tactics, even stalking through shallow rivers to catch fish in a manner similar to its brown bear cousins. Then, when fortune delivers an exceptional meal, the payoff is enormous. A single bear may consume a massive amount of food in one sitting, building the precious fat reserves needed to survive the unforgiving Arctic months ahead. As the Arctic's brief summer begins to fade, retreating tides expose a maze of shallow channels and narrow river entrances. To reach feeding grounds, renew their skin, and guide vulnerable calves, pods of beluga whales are funneled through these temporary bottlenecks, where the vast polar sea suddenly becomes a confined passage. High above the shoreline, a polar bear studies the scene with unwavering patience. Instead of charging into the frigid water, it remains perfectly still, waiting until the belugas are compressed into the tightest part of the channel, where even a small mistake could prove costly. But belugas possess an extraordinary defense. Using highly refined echolocation, they detect danger quickly and can disappear before the hunter closes the distance. Refusing to waste precious energy, the bear abandons the first location and travels several miles to another narrow gap, trusting that persistence may create a better opportunity. The instant a beluga surfaces for a breath in the wrong place, the predator explodes into action, attempting to capitalize on a fleeting opening. In the unforgiving Arctic, survival is rarely won through speed alone. More often, it belongs to the hunter that masters timing and patience. As the tide rises once more, the frozen wilderness settles back into its endless rhythm, and the ancient contest between predator and prey quietly begins again. While polar bears are famous for hunting seals, one of their most dangerous encounters can come from another polar bear. As the breeding season unfolds, normally isolated bears begin crossing paths more often. A drifting scent trail or dwindling food supply is enough to spark hostility, sending powerful adult males into fierce disputes over enormous stretches of Arctic territory. The confrontation usually begins with an impressive display of strength. Towering onto their hind legs, the rivals size each other up before shoving and wrestling across the unstable sea ice. Every push demands tremendous energy, and every slip can shift the balance. Armed with a bite force of roughly 1,200 pounds per square inch, the bear that maintains its power and stamina the longest often gains the upper hand. When summer melts the sea ice, catching seals becomes far more challenging, leaving many bears hungry for weeks. Under these harsh conditions, desperate adult males may even target smaller bears. A mother weighing close to 500 pounds must stand between the threat and her vulnerable cub, knowing a single mistake could prove fatal. In the unforgiving Arctic, survival belongs not only to the strongest, but to those capable of enduring and adapting as the seasons change. Across the Arctic wilderness, a moving herd of caribou stretches across the snow like an endless living ribbon. Their broad hooves spread their weight over soft terrain, acting much like built-in snowshoes. But the trail they leave behind can also reveal their path to an ever-watchful hunter, the polar bear. Every move the bear makes is driven by survival. Rather than charging into the herd, it patiently watches for the easiest opportunity. A young calf or an exhausted traveler becomes the preferred target. When deep snow begins to slow the caribou's escape, the predator unleashes an explosive sprint, timing its attack with remarkable accuracy. Against a fully grown caribou, brute force alone is rarely enough. Instead, the bear may pressure its prey toward icy water, where the odds begin to change. In the frigid sea, the polar bear is perfectly equipped for the challenge, using its powerful limbs and exceptional endurance to move with surprising speed and control. Once the struggle is over and the prey is hauled onto the frozen shoreline, another chapter of Arctic survival comes to a close. It is a powerful display of how patience, strategy, and extraordinary adaptation have secured the polar bear's place as one of the high Arctic's most formidable predators. Across the frozen seas, seals represent far more than ordinary marine mammals. Wrapped in thick layers of energy-rich blubber and weighing around 600 pounds, each one offers an enormous nutritional reward. That payoff makes them one of the ocean's most valuable food sources, explaining why specialized mammal hunting orcapods obtain well over half of their diet by targeting seals. When an unsuspecting seal is found resting atop a drifting sheet of ice, the killers don't charge without a plan. Instead, they perform the remarkable tactic known as wave washing. Swimming shoulder to shoulder, the pod drives its powerful tails through the water in perfect synchronization, creating surging waves that slam into the ice and gradually transform a stable platform into a dangerously unstable perch. If the ice refuses to give way, the whales simply change tactics. Several individuals rise beneath the flow, using their combined strength to lift and weaken the frozen slab before launching another coordinated wave. The instant the seal loses its footing and slides into the water, it enters a carefully organized ambush where escape becomes increasingly unlikely. But life in the ocean is about more than the hunt. It is also where knowledge is passed from one generation to the next. Female orcas have been seen catching prey only to release it again, giving their calves repeated opportunities to practice pursuit, timing, and capture. These learned traditions are handed down through families, helping orcas preserve their status as one of the sea's most formidable apex predators. In the Arctic, every sunset marks another day of survival earned against impossible odds. The contest between predator and prey is an ancient rhythm, one that continues long after our cameras stop rolling. If you are captivated by the power and resilience of these incredible animals, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and activate the notification bell to join our wild adventures. Dive into the next thrilling videos on your screen right now for more incredible moments. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the wild.